Hello, welcome to CK Woodworks for you. Yes, I'm wearing my shop blue sweater again, as always. Well, I decided to go away from the lacquer for the KeepSake box, and I picked up a little can of varnish here. Sorry about the light, for some reason my camera is making it very dark unless I'm close to the camera. So this is some circa 1850 antique paste wax varnish. Just a wipe on finish, and I've got some samples here. All three of these are the woods used in the chest. And it's important to always do tests on your finish with scrap pieces, that way you know exactly how it's going to turn out and what it's going to look like when it is finished. So we're just going to crack open this can, wipe on some of it onto our test pieces, and see how it turns out. Kind of deepens and enriches the color up a little bit. There we go. You can see the difference. On the top here is where you can see the varnish, and down here is where there's nothing. Really makes that grain pop out. So I think that's what we're going to go with for something new, because I've never used varnish before, so I thought I'd share it with you. Now, as far as that was the pallet wood that I think's mahogany. Now here is the ash. Again, you can see just along the top layer here how it darkens and just richens up the grain pattern and color. And again on the cherry, it doesn't pop the grain quite as much, except for in a small area where you get this really tight grain at the end here. But still a beautiful look and a good sheen. Now, thing to remember, always read your directions before use with any finish. Even if you've used one before and you've changed to another brand, they may have different instructions on how their product works and is best applied. So I read over mine, and it was supposed to be wiped on. We followed the process to a T. So now we can look at actually doing the finish on our box. Yeah, editing sucks. It takes forever. Get my hand up there. So, KC Woodworks for you. I just did those test pieces, and I think I have a good enough idea how this varnish is going to look. So, without further ado, I guess we'll get started. We'll open up our varnish and start applying. Now we're going to go the same way as we did last time with the recommendations of our product, which are lint-free cloth and wipe on generously and wipe off. Simple, but very effective. Love the way this finish looks, and I can't wait until we get it completely done. Now I'm going to start with the lid, that way we can take it off and go from there. So I'm just going to rub it on, make sure I cover small circles, kind of running with the grain. It's very important, the finish that you pick for your projects really in the end decides how it's going to turn out in the, whether it's glossy, high glossy, waxy looking, or what it is. It's always good to do those test pieces like we did in that video. That way we know exactly how it's going to turn out. If I didn't like the way that this looked on this wood, then I'd be going with that lacquer, because I already know how it looks on these woods with lacquer. But in the spirit of trying something new, we're going with varnish. And I'm glad I went and picked it up, as I said before. Now, as far as the lid, we're just going to do one side, just like with our staining, and then we'll come back when it is dry and do the bottom side. So that means the lid is really going to take twice as long. Unless I can come up with a stand to some kind to do both sides, but we've got lots of stuff to do in between there, so I think we'll just do one side at a time and then come back, do the other side, and repeat the process until we get 4 coats done on it. Remember to apply generously. That way we're sure our wood is absorbing as much as possible and we're going to get the most out of our finish. Rub it in real nice with the grain structure, like I said. Should be wearing gloves, I guess. They say I'm a sucker for not following my own rules sometimes. But this stuff's non-toxic, so I don't think it's going to kill me. I'm just going to have maybe a bit of gum up on my hands. Go around the edges, make sure they are good and covered. Especially this front live edge here. That's really popping out with some beautiful gloss. Grain is just popping like crazy. Alright, can't lift this off from the bottom. Let that sit there for a second, and we'll come back and wipe it off. Alright, let's start with the inside of this box so that it gets done first. So we're just going to kind of rub it around, make sure we're getting the corners good. Now, I've already wiped this down, make sure all the dust and stuff is off of it, so I'm not worried about that, but it's an important step because that is going to also be a big factor in how your finishes. If you have a lot of dust and stuff, it's going to dry into your finish and you're going to have a lot of sanding trying to smooth all those little dust particles out. Or wood chips or whatever might actually have landed in your box. So remember, always wipe it out first, vacuum it. I like to vacuum and then wipe, just to make sure. Nothing wrong with going the extra step, the extra mile to make sure and ensure that you do things properly and that everything comes out. Okay, now as far as this molding goes, it can be kind of tricky to get in there, so just do your best. Get the excess off again. So, there we go. Get in the corners. Okay. Nope, I think this cloth is starting to wear out. Maybe it'd be better to use an old t-shirt, but I always found these cloths tend to stand up pretty well, and it really has. So, that's about it. 24 hours from now, we will take a look at her and then go over our steps for the second coat. And that's that. Remember, work safe, make the wood work for you. Visit us on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, by searching KC Woodwork or just Kennedy Customs. Thanks for watching. Quick tip to go along with our antique paste varnish video that I'll splice right in at the end. You're actually supposed to wait 12 to 24 hours in between coats. So actually you should wait that 24 hours just to make sure everything's cured. You really want to follow the directions and recommendations of your finish, or you greaten the chances of actually messing it up and having to sand down to nothing and redo it. Also, in between your coats, I recommend going to 3 coats anyways, if not 4 or 5, and then you can give it a light buffing with some light grit, well, it's not even grit, but light steel wool. Give it a good wipe down after that with a rag, make sure all the dust and stuff is off, and go ahead, repeat the steps to apply your 2nd, 3rd, 4th coats. And that's about it. I'm really glad I went and bought this, so I encourage you to always try new things, especially when it comes to your wood shop. You'd be amazed at what you can come up with if you just go out and try something new. So, remember to work safe, make the wood work for you. Visit us on Facebook, Twitter, or Pinterest, and you can find us on there by just searching KC Woodworks for you, or just Kennedy Customs. And check out everything that we've done in the past that hasn't been on YouTube, and hopefully you'll learn something. Check us out in the future, subscribe, like. Thanks for watching.